watching CIOTV by Enterprise IT World, a production of Accent Info Media.
Hello and welcome to CIOTV.live and Enterprise IT World Mia. This is day one GISEC, GISEC 2025, and we have been speaking to a lot of stakeholders, thought leaders in cybersecurity domain in order to understand their strategy to negate the impact of threats, various kinds of attacks that is surfacing due to this geopolitical situation. Now I have CEO of Group IB. His name is Dmitry Volkov. Dmitry, thank you very much for taking time out and speaking to CIOTV.live and Enterprise IT World Mia.
Thanks for having me here.
Dmitry, how has been your experience over in GISEC? Is it your first time that you are visiting or you are having presence here in this? Or?
No, we actually join GISEC every year, probably since 2020. This is a very important event for us because it collects so many companies and clients from the region. So that's why we do speeches, we share our knowledge, and of course they have a big booth here to demonstrate technologies.
Dmitry, I have gone through the profile of your company, about you also. It's very high profile company, and you have got a solution for threat intelligence, you have got other solutions also. So also you are offering XDR, which means you are offering services, you are working with government agencies. So please take us through the activities, the solutions that you are providing.
First of all, we have very solid product portfolio. We are able to detect and prevent threats inside of your network perimeter, what is on the edge of your network perimeter, in your cloud environment and beyond, including your consumers or even somewhere in social media or dark web. So we cover all of this with our internally developed technologies. XDR is just a part of it, and we have network traffic analysis, EDR, MDR, and of course sandbox, email protection, and so on. But the main focus for us is local research. So we build the research team in the region. In every region in Middle East is not an exception. High skilled profile researchers who are responsible for doing digital forensics, incident response, cybercrime investigations, and this is why we work with Interpol, Europol, Afripol, and some law enforcement agencies in different countries. And we collect from the ground information about threats that are tailored to the region, and we understand with all technical details how exactly they execute these attacks. Having this knowledge, we transform it into technologies that becomes tailored for the region to provide better protection.
Now, since you are into threat intelligence, research means threat intelligence, and you are passing on that to the customers, what is the kind of trend you are observing as far as threats are concerned?
So the major threat, first of all, is of course fraud, and we see it from both threat intelligence and anti-fraud standpoint. Okay. Fraud is everywhere, and you probably become or saw different scam calls, phishing websites. I don't know. Maybe you're faced with deep fakes in your real life, because it's getting more and more popular. It's very hard to distinguish what is real, what is not. So this is a major threat. But every region and every industry has some unique threat landscape. For example, if you take telcos become one of the major focus of nation-state actors and also cybercriminals. But nation-state actors, they are very interested to get foothold in the infrastructure to track basically everything. Cybercriminals have different goals. If you take manufacturing or oil and gas, ransomware groups that are also quite active in the region, the number of attacks is not that high, but every single damage is high because they are managed to stop business operations, and threat actors understand that companies are willing to pay, and they do pay ransom. So that's actually bring them also to the region and focus their efforts here. So this is what we see from threat intelligence standpoint in the region.
Now, after AI coming in, it's very strongly influencing both the defenders and attackers. Threat intelligence landscape is growing immensely and very fast also in every region. So, what is your take on that? How, as an organization, Group IB, how do you see it? What's your strategy to prevent AI-led threat intelligence, AI-led attacks being spread across and kind of create havoc in this market?
So, first of all, we need to understand how threat actors use AI to conduct attacks.
Okay.
In a very basic scenarios, we just use it to generate text, to craft very nice looking phishing emails or phishing web pages,
Yes.
and the trick uses using this useful technology. So, but this is something basic. Second is of course deepfakes. Deepfakes is growing very, very fast. We see it growing in every region, and now threat actors use this technology to bypass KYC processes, confirming different critical operations, and it's the real challenge for cybersecurity industry to detect this kind of threats. Because even if we talk about deepfakes, deepfakes is expensive in production. It's very easy to produce, but it's still expensive in production. Detection is also very expensive. So you can't detect it on every single device because it's very power-consuming technology. But it is still possible to do this. So in our case, we address all of this. Having knowledge about how exactly threat actors use this technology, not theoretical implementation, but real practical implementation. We do this in our approach. If we talk about business email compromise, web phishing, or email phishing, all our technologies are able to detect this AI-generated content with a malicious purpose. So that's number one. Second, when we talk about deepfakes, for example, we don't use it everywhere for any possible use case. Fraud, as again, fraud, it is a fuel for cybercrime ecosystem. Because it's not about stealing money from one bank account to 10 bank accounts. It's also building the infrastructure for money laundering. It's building infrastructure for managing call centers. They invest in technology to automate this process. They need many SIM cards, SIM hubs, and so on. So it's a complex project for them. So that means that they start to fuel this ecosystem. But on the end device, we are able to see with specific use cases how exactly we trick cybersecurity controls. For example, your banking mobile application. So when we try to bypass KYC process, we also see how, because we usually need to tamper camera, for example. We analyze behavior, and based on behavior we see that this is the same user, it's a different user, is it a malicious environment or it's not, and this is how we are able to address issues. But this is only the beginning of the journey. Threat actors will utilize and implement AI in more use cases, and of course the biggest challenge will be in a few years when they will be able to automate more processes. That means that the number of cyber attacks, number of fraudulent activity will start to scale much faster. And of course, we need to adopt new technologies now to be prepared for that future.
Now you have got detection and response, right? You have got EDR, you said, you have got XDR said. So there are many customers who are opting for SIM solutions, right? So which one is the better one in this emerging situation, emerging threat landscape, or the customers should have both the things, best of the breed, both SIM, so also XDR, ADR, inbuilt.
So there is no silver bullet, it's
Okay.
obvious. But every single solution was created with very specific purpose.
Right.
SIM system. Of course, I understand that cybersecurity industry always add new features, but SIM system was designed to collect log files.
Okay.
And it's good in analysis of log files, but it's definitely not a detection and prevention solution.
Okay.
That's why if you need prevention in real time, you need different technologies. If you want to prevent cyber attacks in network traffic, you need India. If you want to detect and prevent and respond On the endpoint solution, you need EDR. XDR just an umbrella that unites all these different technologies, and of course utilize threat intelligence from multiple sources to have better visibility about what's going on. The future in this is not about one specific technology and what is better. We need complex cybersecurity solutions that will protect us from different angles, because if one vector will be open for threat actors, they will attack you from this door. If email is not protected, they will attack you from email. If your web applications are vulnerable, they will attack you from this vulnerable web application, and so on. So complex solution. And the future is for that vendors who are able to put their sensors everywhere, unify the telemetry from all of these sources in one single console, and build automation on top of it. But in this case, mature organizations facing another challenge, they start to depend too much on one single vendor.
So it's a platform-based approach that you are indicating to.
Yeah, but you can't rely only on one platform. You always need to keep balance. If you're a small, medium company, it's fine for you. But if you're a big enterprise, you're working in government or in the oil and gas industry, you need to have a proper balance.
Okay. All right. Now there is a term cyber resilience and cyber defense. You are working on cyber defense, whereas the customers are more concerned about cyber resilience, right? Once it happens, this is inevitable. Nobody can stop any attack happening, right? Whether it will happen in a small person or to small extent or a large extent, that time tells, isn't it? Largest of the organization have been attacked, smallest of the organization have been attacked also. And the key for the customer is cyber resilience. So what is your advice? Because you are more working as a defender. With that side also, continuity of the business. There is a subtle difference in the approach. How do you see that landscape? Both the landscapes merging at a point, creating one strategy, taking it, going forward.
Well, let's make a step back, maybe 5 years ago. And 5 years ago, everyone were talking about clouds and how it will simplify everything, will help our business scale faster, and it will be super reliable and of course redundant.
Right.
Business continuity will be very, very high. Now we see that there is a dramatic shift in paradigm. The world is moving forward towards the deglobalization. So you can't rely only on one cloud. You need multiple clouds. You need data on-prem in the country.
Absolutely,
and
yes.
so on. And that is critically important. That shifts a lot. It changes a lot. So that means when we store data in the country or in the region or even in the company, we have to build this infrastructure basically from scratch. So this is the first very complex task that we need to solve, and of course security must be implemented by design in this case. But in general, we see that now new technologies help you to build pretty resilient infrastructure, even if you want to build it in one country or completely in one organization. Second part is about the readiness of your staff. Are you able to manage it? Are you able to deal with incidents? And we have, in the past again, maybe 10 years ago, all these incidents should be handled only by technical engineers. Now we have a different approach. We need to involve senior management, board, insurance companies, PR, everyone to make the proper incident handle. So that means that cyber drills are very important. We need to train cybersecurity experts, IT experts, PR, management, including board management, about how to take decisions during the crisis that is caused by cybersecurity incident. And I'm talking more about, for example, tabletop exercises. And you don't need to deal with technical systems. When you sit in the same room, and you need to respond quickly and coordinate actions efficiently. So companies like us, we offer such service to raise the resilience, to train and prepare internal IT staff and non-IT staff for any type of crisis, including IT crisis.
There are, that you are absolutely right. Training must be very integral part of the enterprise strategy against leading the fight against the cybersecurity. There is a term called shadow IT. So
Yeah.
you must have heard that there are various departments who go and download certain applications. Even though stakeholders, even though C-suite people do not know, they fail to understand. What's happening, because there are the departments which are given free hand by the organization board. So in that case, that is always a challenge for the CISO and CIO to manage that part of risk.
Well, first of all, shadow means that you don't know about it. So that's why the task number one that you need to solve is to identify the shadow IT. This is also not easy task to solve. And of course, it's not only about IT systems, it's also about services that you consume by subscription. So you don't need to implement it, you just get it as a service from some online platform. So in this case, the task number one is, of course, identify. As soon as you identify it, then you need to verify that it really belongs to you, and actually who was the team or a person who actually built this, and what is the purpose, why they use it. And then, of course, adopt, because you now need to implement right security policies that you have in your organization to protect that was a shadow environment, now a real IT environment. But the problem exists, and the modern technologies, and it's getting worse because we start to consume so much outside of our internal organization that it's deluge everything. So it's the next big thing that we need to take care of.
Okay, Dmitry, you said at the beginning that you have research activities, research center out of this. So, what is the kind of threats or the new or hibernated thing that you can see surface in, say, next 6 to 12 months in this region? Is there any indication that you can make?
Well, I already mentioned them, to be honest. The first one is AI-driven fraud, deepfakes, scam calls, whatever it is. It may depend, but AI-driven fraud will be definitely the biggest challenge. In the next
It's a
12
financial fraud, you say?
Yes, it is a financial fraud. Don't want to talk
No
about
problem.
how exactly to implement this.
Okay.
Find out it. But this is challenge number one. Challenge number two is cyber attacks on critical infrastructure, including telcos. Because last year we saw many incidents of cable infrastructure, satellite infrastructure. Even in the US, you remember how many companies, big telco companies, faced cyber attacks. Wiretap systems were affected. Just a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, biggest telecommunication companies in South Korea suffered a huge breach, and information about SIM cards leaked. And what is SIM card nowadays? It is a root of trust. Everything is linked to phone numbers. We can recover passwords, we can get one-time passwords. That means that having access to this kind of information, threat actors can do a lot. And that means that one breach affected lives of almost everyone who lives in the country. So that will be the next big challenge. We see that threat actors adopting and focusing more on telcos with more aggressive actions. And of course, this is what we need to take in account when we think not about specific actions, but about strategy that we need to implement in the region to protect our citizens.
All right, now coming to your company, Group IP, you are active. I can make out that you are very active in this region. What is for this year? What are the offerings you have? How are you focusing on this region? Very briefly, not taking much of the time and many of the words. So, how are you focusing this region for this year, 2025, and what are the solutions, that new things that you are kind of bringing out?
First of all, we already have 140 experts, technical experts in the region. We are based in Saudi, Egypt, and of course UAE, three major countries where we have pretty strong and solid team. And we are going to increase our research capabilities. Second, because the number one threat is fraud, we're developing and updating our own technologies to prevent fraud in real time, including AI-driven fraud. This is the second big priority for us in the region. And third piece is to protect network environments with our EDR, NDR, XDR, and response for incidents where our solution was not deployed yet, but incident unfortunately happened. These companies, we need professional support from experts who have best-in-class experience how to handle this crisis situation. And of course, training, because I personally believe that and this is our mission to transfer knowledge and transfer expertise to local cybersecurity community. We hire locals, we train locals, we build in this community to build local cybersecurity industry.
And any outcome you are thinking about from this expo, from these 4 days?
First of all, we just started. This is our first day at GISEC. I'm very excited about new next days. We see a lot of business activity, signing MIUs, contacts, big deals, presenting many solutions. So the environment here is perfect. Let's keep the momentum and talk about it after the end of GISEC. The event itself was good.
All right, then, thank you very much. Pleasure talking to you, learning lots of things about the evolving cyber risk in this region.
It's our
Thank you,
responsibility.
Jim. Thank you.
Thank you so much.